So, good morning, students. Today we shall go for the 7th unit in course book, that is The Gardener. It is a nice story written by the Kannada writer, it is P. Lankesh, and it has been translated into English by H.S. Raghavendra, a retired Kannada professor. And this story deals with competition and rivalry of man. It is always common. Man cannot live alone in peace. He wants somebody to have a rival. Then the story deals with that. Let us go to the text of the. I'll give a short summary, then we'll go to the text. The narrator met an old man in a coconut grove near Chandrayapatna. His eyes were suffused with strange memories and native intelligence. He was tall, had grey hair, long beak-like nose, and strong muscular arms. He had a spade in one hand and a newspaper tucked in under his arm. So overall, he was a laborer, overseer, and philosopher. The owner of the plantation needed a person exactly like him. He was well versed in agriculture and could understand the problem of workers. The petty thefts in the garden came to an end. The income from the garden improved. There was a perceptible change in the lifestyle of the owner. The owner became lethargic and shied away from hard work. His wife found all this strange. Her husband's wealth and social prestige had risen. He acquired a lot of friends, and his life became crowded with colorful events. The wife became apprehensive about her husband's adultery and other vices cultivated lately. When the woman was in a fix, the old man, realizing this her plight, started talking to her. He brought a tender coconut, gave to her, and sat on the embankment of the well and started telling. He spoke about a man called Tammanna, who had 10 acres of wetland, a comfortable house, and servants. The most important of all his possessions was his rival Sangoji. Later he corrects and tells his name as Basavaya. So Basavaya was Tammanna's rival. If Tammanna bought 4 acres of land, Basavaya also followed suit. If one had 10 friends, the other acquired 15 friends. At first, it looked like a healthy competition. Tammanna had 1,000 acres, while Basavaya had 800 acres. So Basavaya asked Tammanna to sell 200 acres to him, but Tammanna did not agree. So Basavaya got angry and took his friends and acquired 200 acres of Tammanna's land forcibly. Tammanna could not tolerate this. His supporters advised him either to go to the court of law or go to the police. Otherwise, they were ready to attack Basavaya. Basavaya was in search of a method that could Tammanna was in search of a method that could annihilate Basavaya totally. He composed all his experiences in the form of ballads and started singing. The rivalry between Tammanna and Basavaya started moving from the visible to an invisible, abstract domain. Basavaya also tried to sing, but he could not. He performed his agricultural tasks more diligently. Tammanna's reputation started spreading, and his songs made a mention of Basavaya's cruelty and his meanness. Basavaya, consumed by anger, encroached more and more of Tammanna's land. Tammanna did not notice all this. Art had become the raison d'etre of his life. That means the reason for living. He was felicitated as the best poet of his times. Basavaya shrunk in humiliation. He started filling his life with all kinds of material wealth. He built a palatial mansion and bedecked himself with gold, diamonds, and other precious stones. But his house looked dull and empty because Tammanna's books were not there. He invited scholars and poets and musicians to make his home with meaning. One day, Tammanna was ill. Basavaya found a way of surpassing Tammanna. Tammanna's disease was Basavaya's health. Tammanna thought of another method of punishing, and that was death. If he continued at the level of his body, Basavaya would offer a stiff competition. But if his songs were separated from his body, and if there was no relation between his songs and his own flesh and blood, Basavaya would be punished. It's something like a spiritual death. Man needs wealth, education, and many more things, and yet he lives for some kind of vengeance. The old man told the owner's wife that it was not a real story, but he heard somewhere from someone. The old man conceived the story of Tammanna and Basavaya when all of a sudden Russia told America that it was not its enemy and would not wage a war. America felt agony and boredom when Russia was no more its enemy. The old man suffered a similar fate. He thought his death alone could destroy Basavaya. He gave up everything and started off. A few days later, Basavaya passed away as he had no reason to live. After Basavaya's death, Tammanna forgot all his songs and ballads and he became a non-entity. The old man concluded by saying that man is so complicated that till the day of his death, he goes on living for some revenge or the other, confronting one challenge or the other. This is a short introduction and a bit of summary of the story which we are going to read. Now let us go to the text. Let us go to the text. Elaboration. Before going to that, see in the top. Is there a difference between competition and rivalry? Competition and rivalry. See, competition is healthy, whereas rivalry is not a healthy competition. So you can compete with your friends that I'll score more marks, but there should not be rivalry. Now, can you think of different factors that motivate human beings to lead their life? See, there are many factors. For some great people, they inspire others to become great. So there are many factors. Hard work, sincerity, everything and all that. Anyway, let us go to the text of this story. Elaboration can only impoverish this account and make it less authentic. That means need not to go very deep. So I conceived this story in a flash. The narrator tells that he conceived the story in a fraction of a second, in a flash. It has its genesis in my chance encounter with an old man. Genesis means origin. The story had its origin in a chance encounter. Chance encounter means casual meeting with an old man. He was standing in a coconut grove near Chandrayapatna. So he was standing in a coconut grove near Chandrayapatna. His eyes were suffused with strange memories and native intelligence. The man looked very intelligent and he looked also strange. He looked a bit of strange memories. He stood there, a tall figure of the hair gone grey, a long beak-like nose and strong muscular arms. In one hand, a spade used to tend coconut trees. That means he was a worker. He was having a spade in one hand. A newspaper tucked under his arm. He had a newspaper under his arm. That means he could read well. And he was a bit educated. On the whole, he was a laborer, overseer, and philosopher, all rolled into one. He was a worker. He was a supervisor also. And well educated, that is a philosopher. He came to this garden one day after walking hundreds of miles. Here, hundreds of miles means long distance. It doesn't show hundreds and all, it's a long distance. The owner of this plantation needed a person exactly like him. The owner was waiting for such a person. A few words were exchanged. They did not talk much, just a few words were exchanged. The old man stayed on. So the old man continued to work in the farm. He was really useful. He was well versed in agriculture. He was an expert in agriculture and could understand the problems of workers because he has been a supervisor, he has also been a worker, so he knew what are the problems the workers were facing. The petty thefts in the garden came to an end. Within a short period of time, the small thefts, they came to an end. Many times coconuts used to be stolen and all these things, they came to an end. The income from the garden improved dramatically. Dramatically means very much. The income started going up very much. There was a perceptible change in the lifestyle of the owner. What is perceptible change? Noticeable change. We could easily notice that there is some change in the lifestyle of the owner. What is the change? The plantation expanded. It became big. But the owner became lethargic. Lethargic means he became lazy and shied away from hard work. Shied away means avoided. He did not do hard work. Earlier he used to do all the work. But now he became lazy. He shied away from hard work. His wife found all this very strange. So wife was observing the husband's behavior, the change in his lifestyle. Then she found it hard to decide whether the old man's arrival was for the better or for the worse. She could not understand whether the arrival of the old man was it good or was it bad. Then her husband's wealth and social prestige had risen, has gone up. His wealth as well as his society, the prestige in the society had gone up. He acquired a number of friends in the next town and an equal number in his own village. So earlier he was not able to go to the next town, but now he went, he had a lot of friends there and also an equal number in his own village. He became very famous. Even though he had precious little to do, he had very little to do, his life became crowded with colorful events. That means he was enjoying colorful events, very, very good dress, good friends. So he was happy. She became apprehensive about his adultery. So wife was observing the husband and she was doubting. Apprehensive means doubtful about his adultery. Adultery means having illegal relationship with somebody else. And umpteen other vices, many other bad habits cultivated lately. That means recently. Earlier you did not have any bad habits. After the arrival of the old man, he was doing everything and the owner became lazy, lethargic, cultivated all bad habits, adultery and other vices. Their farm, and thanks to his newly acquired clout. Clout means status. So he had a status now. Everybody respected him. Their farm, which was merely 10 acres, had grown beyond imagination. In the beginning, it was only 10 acres, but now it has grown up. And that was fine. But their life also was gradually getting out of hand. So, life was not as earlier. Now it is going just out of hand. She could not control him. When she was in a fix like this, one day the old man met her and behaved as though he knew all about her plight. That means the old man was observing. When he observed, the lady was very much upset. She was in a fix. He wanted to talk to her. He went near her. He smiled at her and brought down an offering of tender coconuts from a nearby tree. So straight away, you can't go and talk to somebody. So she was waiting. He went and brought some tender coconuts and gave to her. He sat on the embankment of the well. So there was a well and the well had an embankment. Just ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಟ್ಟೆ. So on that he sat. She had no alternative and she sat next to him. So she could not go away now because he has offered tender coconuts. She drank it. She also sat next to him. The sun was slipping away into the western horizon. That means it was evening time, the sunset time. His eyes were reaching the walls of the well. His rays were reaching the walls of the well through the foliage of coconut, mango, and jackfruit trees. That means the garden was full of trees. Coconut trees, mango trees, jackfruit trees, and the sun rays were passing through the thick foliage. Foliage means the leaves. So even through the thick foliage, the rays were coming and touching the walls of the well. The old man began his narrative. The old man started telling a story. In a far-off place, once there was a man called Tammanna. He starts telling some story that once upon a time there was a man called Tammanna. He had everything. He was well enough. 10 acres of wetland. He had 10 acres of wetland. A comfortable house. Good house. People too ready to do his bidding. So many people were just waiting to obey his order. That means there were servants ready to obey his order. The most important among all his possessions was his rival Sangoji. So, in spite of all these riches, everything, the most important possession was his rival Sangoji. This means man always wants some rival. He cannot live peacefully. Even if he has got everything, he wants a rival. After proceeding this far, the old man started fumbling for words, as though he had committed a mistake. Then he was just fumbling. That means he was just shaking while talking because he had committed some mistake. And what is the mistake? She was listening. She felt like going away, saying, all this is none of my concern. She was just upset. Why he is telling all these things to me? She wanted to go away. But she does not go away because he will feel. However, unwilling to hurt the old man. If she suddenly leaves, he may feel bad. So she continued to sit there quietly. She sat there listening to him. The old man went on. No, his name was not Sangoji, it was Basavaya. That is why he was fumbling for words. He told the name wrongly. He said Sangoji, but in fact his name was not Sangoji, but it was Basavaya. He expressed his amazement. Amazement means wonder at how facts take on such varied guises when they are narrated as fiction. Sometimes when you narrate some events or facts, so there is a lot of changes take place. Without your knowledge, they change. He is very much amazed at such changes. Let that be. Let us assume his name was Basavaya. So who was Basavaya? Tammanna's rival. If Tammanna bought 4 more acres adjacent to his land, Basavaya also followed suit. So if Tammanna bought some land, Basavaya immediately he also bought some land. If one had 10 friends, the other acquired 15 admirers. Suppose Tammanna had 10 friends. Immediately Basavaya will acquire 15 friends. To begin with, all this looked like healthy competition. So everything was just like a healthy competition. However, gradually it rose to such a pitch that there was no land left in the village for them to buy. See, both of them have bought lands. There was nothing left now. All land belonged to either Tammanna or Basavaya. Tammanna had 1000 acres and Basavaya owned 800. So Basavaya had 200 acres less than Tammanna. And Basavaya could not tolerate this. So he could not tolerate this. He sent word to Tammanna asking him to sell 200 acres. So he sent some messengers to go to Tamanna and ask him to sell 200 acres. But Tamanna did not agree. He was prepared to buy all the land that belonged to Basavaya. So what Tamanna said? If he gives all the land, I will buy, but I won't give any land from my side. So Basavaya was very much angry. He was mad with the rage. He went along with his people and acquired 200 acres of Tammanna's land forcibly. So he took his supporters, went to Tammanna's land. He measured about 200 acres and put a fencing around that. So he acquired 200 acres of Tammanna's land forcibly. A fence was built around that land. They built a fence around that. And Tamanna could not tolerate this invasion. And Tamanna was observing. He could not tolerate this. He was very much angry. By now, the quarrel between these two had sucked in all their supporters. In the meanwhile, all the supporters of Tamanna joined him, and all the supporters of Basavaya, they came to him, joined him. That means now there are two parties were there now. And Tamanna was advised by his supporters about the various means available for getting back his land. So Tamanna supporters told him not to worry. And there are various methods to get back the land. And one is the court of law. There was the court of law. They could go to the court, file a case and get back the land. One could also take recourse to the police. Otherwise, give a complaint to the police and they will find out and they will give back his lands. If you do not want that, there are many number of persons ready to attack Basavaya. So, Tamanna's supporters were very strong. They said, let us go to the court of law or let us go to the police. If you don't want that, allow us. We will go and attack Basavaya. Such a war had become virtually inevitable. But Tamanna was in search of a method that could annihilate Basavaya completely. Tamanna did not want all the small things. He wanted a permanent solution. He wanted to annihilate. Annihilate means totally destroy Basavaya. He hit upon the idea of composing all his experiences in the form of ballads and singing. He was a good singer. So what he thought, he composed all his experiences in the form of ballads. Ballads means beautiful songs and started singing them. Now, the rivalry between Tamanna and Basavaya started moving away from things that were visible towards an invisible abstract domain. It's a very important question, long question they ask. How does the rivalry between Tamanna and Basavaya move from things visible to an abstract domain? That means earlier just lands, some friends, lands, these are all visible. But now it has come to invisible. Invisible means ಮಾನಸಿಕವಾಗಿ ನೋವಾಗಬಹುದು. That is invisible. Then Basavaya had no answer to this. He also tried to sing. So Basavaya tried to sing, but he could not. He performed his agricultural tasks more diligently. So he put interest on agricultural work, started cultivating, doing many things. But this too was no answer to Tamanna. But he was not satisfied. Tamanna's reputation started spreading all around because of his ballads, because of his singing. Tamanna became very famous. His songs started making a mention of Basavaya's cruelty and his meanness. All the songs, all the ballads, they were about Basavaya's cruelty and his meanness, lowness. Scholars of folklore were after him. The scholars who were all there, they were very much attracted by these ballads and songs. They came and many of them started translating them. Critics started analyzing and translating his songs and thus earned their share of fame. So many people liked these songs and ballads. They started translating them. Basavaya helplessly watched all this, consumed by anger. He encroached more and more into Tammanna's land. So then he started encroaching all one by one Tammanna's land. Tammanna did not notice any of these activities. Tammanna just kept quiet. He did not observe anything. Art had become the raison d'etre of his life. See, raison d'etre. This is a French word which means the reason for his living. That means he left everything, land and all that. But art means here songs, songs about his and the ballads. This comes under the art had become the raison d'etre of his life. He was felicitated as the best poet of his times. So they also honored him as the best poet of his times. Now Basavaya shrunk in humiliation. Basavaya could not tolerate all this. He shrunk in humiliation. Nevertheless, he started filling his life with all kinds of material wealth. He got a palatial mansion built for himself. So he started amassing the wealth. He built a big house, just like a palace. He appointed a number of persons just to praise him. So many people were appointed just to praise Basavaya. He bedecked himself. That means he adorned himself with gold, diamonds, and other precious stones. But his house looked dull and empty. In spite of all this, his house was dull and empty because Tammanna's books were not there. During those days, everybody was crazy about Tammanna's books. And when they came to Basavaya's house, it was very nice, but the books were not there. That is why the house looked dull. That is what the visitors told him. Therefore, he started inviting scholars, poets, and musicians to his place. This was his way of investing his home with meaning. So what Basavaya did? He called the scholars, poets, and musicians so that his house looked beautiful. One day, he came to know that Tammanna was ill. He got the news that Tammanna was sick. At that point, Basavaya found the means of surpassing Tammanna. That means Basavaya was healthy. Tammanna was sick. So Basavaya thought that I can surpass him. Health is wealth. Tammanna has wealth, but what is the use? He doesn't have health. So Basavaya is very happy that he has got health. You may sing, you may write ballads. That means about Tammanna is telling, you can sing, you can write ballads. But if Tammanna started suffering from disease, if he becomes sick, surely his own spirits would be revived. If Tammanna starts suffering, Basavaya will improve. That is, Tammanna's disease was Basavaya's health. This is the rivalry, how it takes place. If one man is suffering, the other man is happy. If one man is sick, the other man becomes healthy. So this is the contrast. Now, however, by this time, Tammanna had thought of yet another method of punishing Basavaya. Tammanna was planning to annihilate him. What is that? And that was death. Death alone will put an end to their rivalry. If he continued at the level of the body, all material things, Basavaya would go on offering a stiff competition. Whatever Tammanna does, Basavaya will definitely come as a rivalry. But if his song was separated from his body, if his song was separate, that means if he stopped singing the songs, if there was no relation between the songs and his own flesh and blood, that means his body and the songs, if they were separated, this is how thoughts went on. If you see this is something like a spiritual death. Manasikavagi sayudu. He does not want to give opposition, stiff opposition to Basavaya. He wants to keep quiet. He wants to forget all his songs and ballads. And ultimately, Basavaya will not tolerate this. And that's when I realized how strange human nature can be. The old man began his explanation to the owner's wife. So today I'll stop here and tomorrow we'll continue from here. Just a little bit of revision of what we have done. Just come back. The story is written by the famous Kannada writer Yaru P. Lankesh, and it has been translated into English by Raghavendra Rao. You see the man. He has his strong muscular arms, is quite strong, and he looks intelligent, native intelligence, and he has a beak-like nose, long nose. So these are the qualities of the old man. So the old man walks a long distance and comes to Chandrayapatna. Our narrator meets him by chance encounter, casual meeting near in a coconut grove near Chandrayapatna. Then he observes that the old man was full of knowledge, full of intelligence, and he was a tall figure, grey hair, long beak-like nose, and strong muscular arms. In one hand he had a spade, in the other hand he had a newspaper tucked under his arm. He was a laborer, overseer, and philosopher. He was a worker, supervisor, and an educated person. Now he came to the garden after walking long distance. Then the owner was very happy to have such a person. Then within a short period of time, he was a man well versed in agriculture. He could understand the problems of workers. Thus, within a short period of time, the thefts disappeared. Small thefts, they came to an end. The income improved. But there was a perceptible change in the lifestyle of the owner. The owner became lethargic. They shied away from hard work. He cultivated bad habits. His wife also was observing that she was apprehensive about his adultery and other vices. So, in spite of all this, the wife was a bit upset because the husband's behavior was changing. When she was thinking about this and just in a fix, the old man came to her, talked to her, and started telling a story that is about Tammanna. Tammanna was a man who had a comfortable house, 10 acres of wetland, and a lot of people were ready to obey him. But the most important thing was the rival Sangoji. Then the old man started fumbling for words because he has committed some mistake. And what was the mistake? It was not Sangoji, but Basavaya. Then, then rivalry starts. If Tammanna bought some land, immediately Basavaya also bought some lands. If Tammanna had about 10 friends, Basavaya also made 15 friends. So in this way, the competition went on. Then there was no land left in the village. All the land was taken by both of them. Tammanna had 1000 acres and Basavaya had 800 acres. Now Basavaya could not tolerate this. He sent a word to Tammanna to give 200 acres of land. But he did not agree. And Tammanna said that, if you want, I'll buy all your lands. So Basavaya was mad with rage. He took his supporters, took 200 acres of land forcibly and built a fence around that. And Tammanna was advised by his supporters either to go to the court of law or go to the police. If not, they are ready to attack Basavaya. So this war had become inevitable. Then what Tammanna did, he wanted to annihilate Basavaya completely. He composed all his experiences in the form of ballads and started singing them. And the rivalry now started moving from the visible to an invisible abstract domain. And Basavaya could not sing. He could not respond properly. So what he did, and Tammanna's songs made a mention of Basavaya's cruelty and meanness. And all the critics, they started translating the songs. And he was awarded the best poet of the times. And art had become the raison d'etre of his life. Basavaya was very much upset. He started filling his house with material wealth. He built a big palace-like house. He appointed a number of persons to praise him. Then he bedecked himself with gold, diamonds, and other precious stones. But even all this, in spite of all this, the house looked dull and empty because Tammanna's books were not there. That is what the people told. So he invited scholars, poets, and musicians to his place and invested his home with some meaning. Then one day, Tammanna was ill. On hearing this, Basavaya was very happy because health is wealth. If Basavaya, Tammanna started suffering from disease, surely Basavaya's spirits would be revived. Tammanna's disease was Basavaya's health. So by this time, Tammanna thought of another method of punishing Basavaya, and that was death. If he continued at the level of his body, Basavaya would go on offering a stiff competition. But if his song was separated from his body and there was no relation between the songs and his own flesh and blood, so he thought like that. In this way, I can take revenge on Basavaya. Now, he realizes how strange human nature can be. Then the old man began to explain. So tomorrow we'll continue with the remaining. Okay. Thank you.